From the moment we're born, we're taught that family is sacred. That no matter what happens, no matter what they say or do, we must forgive, endure, and stay. But what if this unshakable loyalty is slowly breaking you? What if behind what they call love, there's control, manipulation, and pain disguised as care? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds to study the human soul, warned us about the invisible chains that bind us, often within our own families. He said that once you see the truth clearly, there's no going back, because once your eyes are open, you can't unsee. This isn't a message about cutting ties out of hate. It's about reclaiming your sense of worth. It's about respect. It's about courage. Because there are certain behaviors no one should tolerate, not even from the people they love most. The hard truth is this: real love never asks you to erase yourself. In this video, you'll uncover 5 deeply destructive patterns that often hide behind the mask of family affection. And the core idea is simple. You are not required to accept everything in the name of love. Not everything that comes from family is love. Remember this: emotional safety, self-respect, and authenticity aren't luxuries. They're boundaries. And no one, not even family, has the right to violate them. First, emotional manipulation. They say they love you, but their love comes with strings attached. If you really cared about me, you'd do this. Or, you're hurting me by living your own life. At first, it's just subtle comments, disapproving looks, long silences. Then come the guilt trips, the unspoken rules, the emotional drama. Before you know it, you're quieting your voice, shrinking your dreams, making choices for them, not for you. Jung called this psychic possession, when someone else's unresolved emotions take up residence in your mind and start steering your actions. Often, the people who do this believe they're protecting you. But in truth, they're avoiding their own pain, trying to fix it through you. You become their therapist, their emotional crutch, their savior. But here's the thing: it's not your job to carry the emotional weight of another adult. You weren't born to live out someone else's unfinished story. Realizing this is the first step. You don't have to hate them, but you must stop feeding the cycle, because love that cages you isn't love. It's control wearing a mask. Second, suppression of your true self. Why do you act like that? Why can't you just be normal? You're embarrassing the family. Sometimes the deepest wounds don't come from strangers. They come from the people who raised us. They don't yell, they silence. They shape you with expectations, rules, and criticism until the real you begins to disappear. Jung believed the purpose of life is individuation, becoming fully yourself, but that path is often blocked when your authenticity threatens someone else's comfort. Maybe you think differently, dress differently, choose a path they don't approve of. Suddenly you're a problem, a disappointment. But here's the truth: you're not here to be a reflection of anyone's fears. You're not here to live out a script that isn't yours. When someone, family or not, demands that you dim your light just to be accepted, what they love isn't you. It's the version of you they can control. Being whole may unsettle those who chose to live in pieces. But you weren't made to fit. You were made to stand. Third, constant criticism disguised as care. I'm only saying this for your own good. I don't want you to regret it later. You're just too sensitive. These words sound like concern, but underneath lies something far more toxic: relentless criticism dressed up as love. It often comes from people projecting their own fears and failures onto you. Jung spoke of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny and hide. When someone hasn't faced their shadow, they start projecting it outward. They tell you you'll fail because they never dared to try. They say you're not strong enough because they've never faced their own weakness. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe those voices. You'll mistake criticism for truth and begin doubting your own strength. Jung warned that projection is one of the greatest barriers to self-awareness. When someone constantly tears you down, it's not about you, it's about them. You don't have to accept the labels, failure, disappointment, not good enough. You can love someone and still refuse to let their pain define your worth, because family ties don't give anyone the right to destroy your confidence. Fourth, guilt as a weapon. After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me? If you leave me, you'll break my heart. Statements like these are emotional weapons disguised as love. Guilt becomes a tool of control. Jung understood how powerful guilt is, especially when it comes from those we feel indebted to, like family. They tell you saying no is betrayal, that setting boundaries means abandoning them. But guilt isn't love, and it isn't morality. When someone uses guilt to steer your choices, they're asking you to sacrifice yourself to ease their pain. And the cost of that is your own life. You start losing yourself. Every decision feels heavy because you're constantly asking, will this hurt them, before even wondering what's right for you? Slowly, you stop living your own life. You become a ghost of your own desires, walking a path that was never truly yours. Breaking this pattern isn't betrayal, it's waking up to your truth. Because real love never punishes growth. Real love says, I want you to be free, even if it's hard for me to let go. They use guilt to keep you small, to keep you the same, but you don't have to stay there. You can change, and that is your power. Fifth, verbal and emotional abuse disguised as their way. So often, verbal and emotional abuse hides behind phrases like, that's just how they are, or it's only a joke. We start normalizing words and behaviors that cut deep. They've always been like that, we say, trying to excuse the inexcusable. But Jung taught us that what we normalize as children becomes our blueprint for love. And what feels familiar is often mistaken for care. But let's be clear, being insulted, humiliated, ignored, or constantly disrespected isn't love, it's abuse. When someone crosses your emotional boundaries, distorts your reality, or belittles your pain, that's not care, it's control. Jung spoke of the wounded inner child, the part of us still searching for love in the same places where we once felt hurt, not because we're weak, but because no one ever showed us what true safety looks like. The danger is the longer you stay in these cycles, the more you start believing you deserve it, that this is just what love feels like. But Jung reminds us the greatest act of courage isn't enduring more pain, it's breaking the cycle. It's saying, I see what's happening, and it ends with me. I won't pass this pain on, not to my children, not to my future self. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's the beginning of your healing. You're not ungrateful for choosing yourself. You're not cruel for setting boundaries. And you're certainly not broken for walking away from those who refuse to see your worth. Jung said, the hardest thing we'll ever do is fully accept ourselves, shadows and all. But that's where true healing begins. Not in fixing others or waiting for apologies that may never come, but in realizing you deserve more. You deserve respect, emotional safety, love that doesn't demand you erase yourself to fit in. Saying no to those who diminish you isn't a lack of love. It's an act of deep self-respect. You're not being harsh for creating space. You're taking the first step toward becoming whole. Because as Jung said, the journey of individuation, the path to becoming who you really are, is the path to freedom, authenticity, and peace. This isn't easy. It shakes the deepest ties of our lives, family, love, identity. But in this awakening lies your liberation. If this message touched you, leave a like to help others find this truth. Share it with someone who needs to hear they're not alone, that they too deserve respect. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep walking this journey of self-discovery and growth together. In the comments, I want to hear from you. Which of these behaviors have you faced? How did it feel when you finally set boundaries? Your story might be the light someone else needs to break free. Thank you for being here, for caring for your mind and your soul. Until next time, keep choosing yourself.